Hello, in this video we are going to cover what gas is, and no, we are not going to cover this type of gas that goes into cars and other vehicles, but we will use this analogy to help explain what gas is in the Ethereum ecosystem. To put it simply, gas in the Ethereum ecosystem is a execution fee for every operation made on Ethereum. So it's an execution fee. An execution fee for performing some operation on the Ethereum blockchain platform. The price of gas is not in dollars or Great British pounds or ruble or anything like that. It's actually expressed in Ether. ETH is the ticker symbol. What a lot of people wrongly refer to as Ethereum when they buy this currency off a platform like Coinbase, for example, or CX.io. It's actually Ether. Ethereum is the blockchain platform. I've got a video covering the differences, so feel free to check that out. So it's expressed in Ether, and this is decided by the miners, decided by the miners, and the miners can refuse to process transactions with less than a certain gas price. So what they can do is, if gas amounts sort of offered is less than the minimum price, then they can just refuse to do it. Because it's like, having a job, for example. You would only do it for X amount of money. If the job is very difficult and there's not a lot of people that are skilled to do that job, you can demand higher amounts of salary, and it's no different to this. So how hard the work is, which we'll cover in a second, depends on the gas amount, and this is all done to make people rich. No, I'm only joking. It's actually all done to help ensure appropriate fees. So it's done for appropriate fees. So it helps ensure appropriate fees are paid by transactions submitted to the network. And this ensures the network doesn't get clogged with intensive tasks that aren't frankly valuable to anyone. So it helps prevent network from getting clogged with tasks that take a lot of effort to perform, but nobody really needs them. And it's based around the amount of work required, not really around the amount of time taken. So it's about, how much actual work is required to perform it. And okay, pretty simple stuff. The really, beyond that, there isn't much more to it. You might be thinking, and this is what I thought when I first heard of it, was why not use Ether directly? So this over here, why not use this directly if, from gas, underneath is paid in Ether anyway? Why not just say for this certain transaction it's going to cost 0.5 Ether or 5 Ether, for example? And this is due to the fact that coins like Ether, Bitcoin, and other altcoins are volatile. And even when they're not very volatile, they still fluctuate in value. So what would happen is tasks that were similar. So if we had task A, so these are operations, task B. So imagine if this was submitted in 2016, this is submitted in 2018. Let's say the tasks are literally identical in terms of the amount of work required. In 2018, or when I'm recording this video in January 2018, the price of Ether is roughly about $1,000. In 2016, it was less than $100. It was significantly less. So let's just say this was a kind of an exact price, but I know it was less than, I think, even $50. I'm just going to say $50. It's roughly $1,000. So what you would have to say is, if a task in 2016, task A, cost 10 Ether, 10 ETH, that would be the equivalent of $500. But you couldn't say in 2018 that it's going to be 10 Ether, because that would be $10,000. That's way too much. You would have to say 0.5 Ether. So it just means that the miners have to, constantly be changing the amount of Ether they're requesting to process the transaction, and that's not a good system at all. Instead, using a gas system, they can just set a gas amount. So let's just say 100, and the amount of Ether it relates to could vary, but the amount of gas is going to be consistent. So that's the great reason for using gas. And there's a couple of great links to see statistics on gas, the price of it, the sort of transaction volume, the difficulty, all of that good stuff. And two great websites. It's ETH, so ETH stats.net. There's no space here, even though it looks like it. ETH gas station info. So check out these websites. They're amazing little sites that provide you with a whole heap of information. So to sum up, gas is the way that fees are calculated. The fees are still paid in Ether, though, which is different from gas, because gas just corresponds to the amount of work required, but they might relate to different amounts of Ether at different amounts of time. The gas cost is the amount of work that goes into something, like the number of hours of labor, whereas the gas price is like the hourly wage you pay for the work to be done. The combination of the two determines your total transaction fee. Think of it like a car, for example. A car going horizontally, assume there's no wind resistance or anything like that, will require less gas than if it is going up a hill. It's just basic physics. So it is similar to that, even though it's still a car, and let's say still traveling a half a mile uphill or half a mile horizontally, sideways, the amount of gas required, the amount of work required for that car to travel that distance is greater when going uphill. And it's like when you go to fill up your car at a gas station. If your car is, let's say it requires 10 liters of gas to be filled up to the top from 0 to full, it's always going to require 10 liters, but the cost of those liters of gas might change, and that's what the Ether part refers to. Also, just to sum up, if your gas price is too low, no one will process your transaction, so it just helps prevent the network from getting clogged. And if your gas price is fine, but the gas cost of your transaction runs over budget, the transaction fails but still goes into the blockchain, and you don't get the money back for the work that the laborers did. So that's just a sum up of what gas is and how it fits into the Ethereum ecosystem. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to go over the video again and have a look at any of the concepts we covered. And I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson.